force that stretches out to the moon. So long ago, when gray skies were blue. Tomorrow, then there never was a today. So long ago, when gray skies were blue. I mean, really, what the fuck? I was wondering, have you ever heard the term, wherever you go, there you are? So long ago, when gray skies were blue, and we are all connected, like tides around the world being pushed and pulled by an unseen force that stretches out to the moon. It's the notion that something can happen to anyone, but you know what I mean. And if there is no tomorrow, and there never was a today, this will plague you over and over. I mean, really, what the fuck?
Y'all make sure to smash the like. YouTube really cares, even if I don't.
Gray skies were blue, and we are all connected by tides around the world being pushed and pulled by an unseen force that stretches out to the moon. It's the notion that something can happen to anyone. I was wondering.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy, Pigskin Pete. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Thank you all for joining me on this fine Wednesday evening. Man, I look forward to Wednesday night every week, and Friday night, and Monday night. All the live shows that I do. Oh, by the way, this Friday, coming up, guest host on the Pigskin Pete call-in show, Tiger Paw Craven. I don't know if he's in here tonight. Might be. Tiger Paw Craven coming to hang out with us and co-host the show on Friday night. As for tonight, of course, this is a call-in show. If you want to call in, the number to call in is 864-207-4522. For all the people in the back who can't hear or if you can't read, the number to call in is 864-207-4522. Of course, this show is driven by the callers. Nobody is here to look at my ugly face or hear me ramble on for 2 hours. Shout out to all the join members. You guys are what keeps this show going. Of course, all the people that send in super chats and PayPals as well. As for the discussion for tonight, after the pleasantries, we will talk about the news that is in college football world. And right now, the news in the college football world is very few and far between. But it looks as if the what do they call? I don't know what they call this thing. Not the playoff committee, the board of director. I don't know what they call them. They got so much shit going on over there. It's like the Congress. Talking about a possible expansion to 12 teams. Not 8, not 10, but 12. I have some definite opinions on that. But before we get into any of that, of course, I want to do my pleasantries and then get to the chat. Every single Monday night. That's right, every single Monday night. Not every other Monday, not every third Monday of the month. Every single Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, you can catch me and Uncle Lou on the Lunch Money Show. The best show about nothing on all of the internet. The only show about nothing on all of the internet. The longest running show about nothing on all of the internet. The most underrated show about nothing on all of the internet. Yeah, all of those things. And we have a great show lined up for you this coming Monday as well. Slob Olympics. Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, March 11th through 13th. I see a lot of Slob Olympians here in the chat tonight. Bunch of them. If you've ever wondered what the most slob behavior you could ever imagine is, you'll see it if you come to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, March 11th through 13th. I don't know if this hotel knows what they're getting into. Imagine 30 or 40 slobs staying in your hotel at one time. Scary thought. Cheers to the chat. Let's see who is in here tonight. Matt Dummett's here. Tiger Nation, brother for life. What's up, man? Jerome shit-talking Pruitt. Caleb the spelling bee man. D4's here. George. Traveling Fools. Vandy Dandy. Clemson still scared to play Vanderbilt. Ballard Sports Media. Go Tigers 504 says yo. Or yoch. Luke Walker. Vodka Drinker. Alan A. Jermaine Garrettson. Dabo and Saban are scared of Nebraska. I'm noticing a theme here. Scared of Vanderbilt, scared of Nebraska. Wilkie. Pete, did you hear about the Virginia Tech linebacker killing someone over a catfishing deal? No. I did not hear about that. Sounds interesting, though. Pizza Woman. James Thompson. How much for the boat ride? The boat ride is, well, it's free. It's free if you take a handful of mushrooms. Take a boat ride anywhere you want to go then. With glowing flowers. Hey, there's a guy, Pigskin Pete sent a super chat. Thank you to this jabroni. Most underrated call-in show on all of YouTube. That's a fact. Knoll Squad. Bigfoot. Bigfoot thinks they should go to a 150-team playoff. And Tennessee can get in every year. Meanwhile, keep in mind, there's only 131 teams in the FBS. But according to him, you need a 150-team playoff to get Tennessee in there. Sounds reasonable. What's up, LW? The Fan Attic. Ray Finkel's creepy bedroom. What's up, brother? LSU fans here. Thank you, D4. Says, shout out to the most underrated YouTuber, Pigskin Pete. I would happen to agree with you there. Dookie Shoot is here, although Dookie Shoot got timed out. Must have said something Dookie-ish. What's up, BVD? Michael Hogg. All right. Man. Shout out to all of you for being here tonight. Let's get to the phone lines. Well, first of all, let's see if anybody's on the phone. Oh, yep. There happens to be people on the phone. Believe it or not. What's up, your own Pete?
Hey, what's up, Pete? It's Ballard. How you doing tonight, bro?
Ballard Sports Media. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Not much. I wanted to call up and talk about this expansion deal.
Yes.
And give my thoughts on it. And here's the thing. I'm for it, and I'm also not for it. Because on one hand...
Well, you can't be for it and not for it. You have to pick a side. Don't be you're a two-teamer and a two-sider, apparently.
Well, I mean, I see ups and downs. I mean, it would give us more games. It would, give other teams a shot at the playoff. That, I mean, there's always going to be controversy for, I guess, put the fourth spot. It's like even last year especially, but last year aside because of the pandemic and just weird conference-only crap that went down. I mean, you're always going to have teams that are going to be qualified for the fourth spot, but obviously only one team can get that. If you expand it, you can get those other teams in, and hell, it'd be more football games, right?
Well, no, there wouldn't be more football games because those teams that wouldn't be in the playoffs are still going to make bowl games. So,
that's true.
Yeah. So now what's going to happen if they go to 12 teams, which is, by the way, I did a video about this. I don't know, it was a month ago or 6 weeks ago or whatever it was with Uncle Lou. And we went through all the different scenarios about the playoff expansion. And my worst case scenario is 12. I said it on there. 12 to 16 teams was way too many. So what they're talking, let's break down what they're talking about, and then we can discuss it. So a 12-team playoff, what that would consist of is 5 automatic bids, or 6 automatic bids, 5 Power 5 champion automatic bids, 1 group of 5 automatic bid, and then 6 at large. So that would include, somebody like a Notre Dame, a BYU, and any other team in America.
Right.
Now,
you could even get
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, you could even get, let's say, obviously you'd get, if you had Alabama, Georgia in the SEC title game, let's say they're both undefeated, right? They both go into the game undefeated. you have the loser being a one-loss team, and obviously you put the champion in there. Could you put a one-loss Bama or Georgia in there maybe? But anyway, you can continue on. I was just thinking out loud for this.
No, but here's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Is it more exciting for the postseason? Will it include more teams? Will there be more of an excitement for more fans of more teams leading into the postseason? Yeah, I guess so. But how many of those teams that we're talking about outside of the top 5 or 6 have a legitimate chance to actually win the national championship? Let's just go back over the history of the playoffs. If you go from seeds outside of the top 4, if you go 5, 6, 7, you might be able to make an argument for 5 and 6 to have a chance, an outside chance at winning. Outside of that, once you get past 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, no chance. None. This is not the NFL. And I don't want to make it the NFL. And what you're going to see if they go to a 12-team playoff is a bunch of teams that have no chance. That's number one.
Yeah.
And most importantly, it's going to diminish the regular season. This is my biggest problem with this. You're going to see 2 and 3 loss teams. You're going to see a 3-loss SEC team in the playoffs if they have 12 teams in there.
Right.
Is that okay with you? Losing a 25% of your games and getting into playoffs?
Right. It's not okay with me. And even if you go to like 8, hell, they're putting 2-loss teams in there. You know what I mean? Most likely.
We already have a problem with players sitting out bowl games. Now, if you make a 12-team playoff, every single team that doesn't make the 12-team playoff is going to consider their bowl game to be completely meaningless, even though it's not.
Yeah.
And you're going to see even more players sitting out.
Right.
You know, I think 8 was the threshold. Well, at least in my opinion, 8 was the threshold to still include more teams, because every year we see a controversy numbers 5 and 6 could easily be number 4, because there's all kinds of subjective stuff that goes into picking those top 4, and you can make a case for 5 or 6 every year. You can't make a case for the number 12 guy to be in there. You just can't do it.
Yeah. No. Oh, but look, we're in the top 15.
Yeah.
So what? Look, at the very least, if you're expanding the playoffs, are you not focusing on top 10 type of tier teams, in the top 10 somewhere?
Well, I hope everybody, all these people that want the 12 and 16 team playoff, you might get your wish. And I hope you have that energy about players sitting out bowl games. And not even just bowl games, maybe possibly even regular season or conference championship games. Because if you have your division locked up, why would you put in? Let's say Alabama goes undefeated. Why would you put Bryce Young in?
Yeah.
If they win their division, they're penciled in to go to Atlanta for the SEC championship game. Why are we playing Bryce Young this week? Let's just sit him out, get him ready for the conference championship game, because we win the conference championship, we're automatically in. We'll be
right.
No, whatever, 12-0 or 11-1, depending on what happens in that last game. Why play Bryce Young? Why risk it? Why play Bryce Young against Auburn in the Iron Bowl if you don't need to?
Right, they're gonna be competitive, man. They're gonna suck. That's where Paul Tyson steps up, right? Our second string,
Yeah. Well, and I'm looking in the chat here. People talking about bye weeks. That's the other thing I don't like. 4 bye weeks. So they're talking about 8 teams, and the top 4 seeds get a bye. So if you're the 12th seed, how many games do you have to play in a college football season to be a national championship? To be a national champion? What? 17?
Right.
Yeah.
Look, at the most right now, and you look at it too, if you run the table and go undefeated with the way it is now, we have 15-0 teams. We've already had Clemson do it, LSU do it. Bama, I mean, it was a shortened season. They went 13-0, but whatever. I mean, if you even try to expand it to 8 or 12 or whatever, you're looking at teams going 18-0, something like that. I don't know, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, the thought of expansion is something that I don't think we should put aside, obviously. There's nothing wrong with trying to expand it, but nobody is going to fully agree on a certain format, and there's going to be some people get pissed off if they expand it to whoever it might be, and there's going to be people that are going to be happy about it. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. I think if you're going to expand it, no more than 8. You get the Power 5 champs in, and then you have hopefully an undefeated Notre Dame, because, I mean, they're not even in a conference, but, of course, they want to make
there
the
you go.
playoffs.
Notre Dame could lose a game or two and still get in the playoffs with 12. Hey, that's the other thing. That's an angle I didn't even think about. For all the people that are hoping that one day Notre Dame leaves their independence and joins a conference like we all think that they should, that's never happening with a 12-team playoff. Forget about it. They'll be independent for the rest of history. Why would they? Why would they join a conference if there's a 12-team playoff? They get in every year, almost every year.
You think you get a team? You think you could also get like Cincinnati, a Group of 5 team? They're not too bad, but I mean, it doesn't. You could at least even consider them somewhere in there. You know, if we, have like 8 or 12 or whatever the heck.
Well, yeah, they get an automatic bid.
You'd even
The best Group of 5 team would get in.
Automatic bid. Yes. For sure, man.
Yeah.
But anyways, Pete, I'll let you get to some other calls. Thanks for taking my call, and have a good one.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Everybody, Ballard Sports Media calling in, checking in with us. Thank you, Gloria Vanderbilt, for the super chat. Says, why are you scared to play at my school?
You can go fuck yourself. Bunch of goddamn Wuhan fucking whatever. Bend over and suck my fucking nuts. I'll give you the goat.
Thank you, Gloria. Yeah, that's a good question, Mike. Why 12? Well, I'll tell you the reason that they picked 12. It's a money grab. The estimation is that if expanding the playoff to 12 or more would bring in an extra $2 to $3 billion with a B dollars to these schools, collectively. Now, look, I'm all for these schools making more money, even though, it's not as if they're not making enough already. That's a whole nother discussion. I'm all for the schools making money, but at the expense of the quality and the tradition of. See, this is the thing that gets to me the most. Everyone talks about other sports when they talk about how unfair college football is. And is it ever going to be completely fair? No. The answer is no. But I hate hearing comparisons. Well, NFL does this, and the FCS does this. Yeah, keep telling me how great the FCS is when you haven't watched a single fucking game in the past 10 years or in your entire life. Keep telling me how great the FCS system is. Nobody cares about the FCS for a reason, and that's one of them. But the comparison to other sports is one of the things that bothers me the most. I don't want the college football to look like the NFL. I don't want it to look like any other sport. Whether my team is in it or not is irrelevant. What's up? You're on with Pete.
Yeah, what's going on, Pete? It's Caleb, the spelling bee man, checking in here.
What's up, Caleb? How you doing, buddy?
Nothing much, man. I'm just a little perturbed. The Braves have got me a little pissed off, so I'm more than ready to give my humble opinion about the playoff expansion.
Yeah, please expound on that.
Yeah, well, I will. So, Pete, I'm going to ask you a question. Who do you think it is that wants the playoffs expanded?
Well, it would work out well for the SEC fans. If there was
yeah, it would, but
if there was a 12-team playoff,
go
you might
ahead.
see 4 SEC teams in there, maybe even 5.
Yeah. But I was thinking along the lines of fans of teams that suck. That's who wants the playoffs expanded.
Yeah.
Your team sucks. We're sorry. We're sorry that you don't fit into a 4-team playoff. I'm sorry. But the uniqueness of college football and the way it is perfectly fine. Keep college football the way it is. I don't care how NFL's playoff system is. I don't care how the MLB's playoff system is. I don't care how the NBA's playoff system is or the FCS. I do not care. And this is from a fan of a team that I can't say sucks, but chokes opportunities away. Are we in the playoffs every year? No. Have we been in it once? Yes. And, I'm sure you as a fan of a team that's in it every year I think you somewhat agree, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Who wants to see?
I don't know. I think 8 is probably the max you can go.
Yeah, I'm with you. The people, I always just, my eyes gloss over and I go into a trance when people start talking about NFL playoffs, in comparison to college football. Who wants to see the worst NFL team is really not that much worse than the best one, right? They're all professionals. There's only 32 teams. The chance that, whatever, who's the worst NFL team right now? I guess maybe the Texans might be with what they've been doing. But let's put the worst NFL team again. There's still probably at least a 20% or 25% chance the worst team in the NFL can beat the best team in the NFL on any given day. Take the worst team in college football and put them against Alabama. Alabama wins 99 out of 100 games.
99 to
who wants to see a playoff where Alabama beats UCF by 150 points? I don't.
Yeah, definitely not happening.
It doesn't really matter it doesn't really matter what me and you think, because it comes down to this all has to do with TV contracts. And if you're getting a TV contract worth $2 billion over a 5-year period, you'll expand it to whatever makes sense financially. They don't care what we think.
Yeah, and they don't care. And I think the tide is turning towards a bigger expansion. But to me, just as my personal opinion, that doesn't matter. 8 is the highest you can go. And just the fact that, all these people whining, just like I said before, it's fans of teams that suck. I'm sorry your team does not fit into a 4-team group. I'm sorry that your team is not good enough. And also a lot of times it's fans of teams like UCF that their strength of schedule determines their way into the playoffs. Last a couple of years ago they had an amazing season, turned their season around, and then they go with the fake national title. Shut up. Your strength of schedule does not match up against the 4 teams that were in it that year.
Well, what's going to happen is it's going to go to, whatever it goes to. Hopefully it doesn't go to 12, but if it does, you'll have one team every 15 years, right? That is the 10th seed and wins a national championship because they got hot in December and January.
Yep.
And then you'll have the people out there saying, see, this wouldn't have been possible in the 4-team playoff. Iowa State just won a national championship as the 10 seed. Meanwhile, it only happens every 20 years. So let's ruin the regular season and change the whole makeup of what makes college football great, just so Iowa State can win one national championship every 20 years. That sounds like a great idea to me.
Yeah, one every presidential election.
Yeah.
And just like Travis Full said, anything past 8 makes the season irrelevant. I mean, you don't want to dim down the season. And also these people saying, go back to BCS. No.
Imagine.
I do not want a computer generating what my team goes to.
Imagine Clemson.
You know, I mean,
Clemson's a great example of this because Clemson, the ACC sucks, right? So what incentive does Clemson? I mean, Clemson could bench their starters and still win the ACC. So what's the incentive for Clemson to play their starters all year long in the big games? There is none.
And and it goes back, and it really goes back to, like, for instance, I mean, just diminishing the season. And when you add more teams, you diminish the season, then the games won't matter. And then, therefore, people can sit out regular season games and quit on their teams in the regular season, just as people quit in bowl games. And for people that don't fit into that elite four, you get a bowl game. I'm sorry you weren't good enough to be in the playoffs, but you get your participation game, and you just take that and move on.
Exactly. The good news is we don't have to worry about this for the next 2 or 3 years at minimum.
Yeah.
So, and probably within 3 years, I'll either be dead or I'll wise up and get off of YouTube. Who knows? All right. Thanks, Caleb. Love you, brother. Thank you for the call. I hope your dad's doing well too. What's up? You're on with Pete.
Hey, good evening, Pete. It's Edward calling in. How you doing on this awesome Wednesday night? Yes.
What's up, buddy?
Not much. I had a couple questions I'd like to. I'm sure you've heard about the old Julio Jones trade to Tennessee. I was going to get your thoughts on that, and maybe you have a little reason why he left Atlanta.
Well, he left Atlanta because Atlanta's terrible. And their quarterback is mediocre at best. So I had this discussion on my show stream on Saturday afternoon. We were talking about Atlanta and Matt Ryan. And Matt Ryan is not a bad quarterback, but he's not great, never has been, and he's on the downside of his career. Here's the bottom line. If Matt Ryan was a top 10 quarterback or a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, Julio Jones wouldn't be going anywhere. And outside of the quarterback play, I mean, Atlanta is one of the worst run organizations in the NFL. And they always have been. So that's why Julio wants out. And I don't blame the guy. Yeah. Tennessee's loaded. Now, I don't know. I don't think their quarterback situation with Ryan Tannehill is much better than Matt Ryan. Team around him is better, though.
Yeah.
So.
Totally great. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Pete, for having me on and answering my questions. And I'll talk to you and Lou on Monday night.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Well, that was a riveting phone call. Don't really know what else to say about that other than that. Thank you, Edward. Yes, Go Tigers 504 says, to hell with the Falcons. McD Sports Force happy about Julio Jones to Tennessee. What's up? You're on with Pete.
Hey, Pete, how we doing?
Hey. What's up?
Hey, J-Dub calling in. I didn't know if you could hear me or not.
Well, I couldn't, but I can hear you now.
Okay. Hey, this going to 12. I'm just going to join the parade. 12's too many. I don't want to go to 8, but it's coming. So I'm swallow my pride and have to live with it because 8's coming. But this 12's ridiculous, and I can hear Nick Saban. I can hear Dabo. I can hear Kirk Ferentz. I can hear some of the other coaches who have already spoken on this. I know what they're going to say. Already right now, you have the 2 semifinals and the championship game, and then games that used to really matter a lot. like say if for instance the Rose Bowl is not one of the semifinals, all of a sudden the Rose Bowl doesn't seem to matter as much as it used to anymore because it's not one of the playoff games.
Right.
Okay. So now if you're going to add extra playoff games, that just completely erases the value of any of these other bowls. I mean, it's the death of the bowls.
Yeah, well, I would say they probably would rotate these semifinal games, just like they do now between the New Year's Six
right.
destinations. But you're right though about let's forget about the New Year's Six bowls for a second. And I know people like to make fun of the Car Care Meineke Bowl and the Duke's Mayo Bowl and and the Camping World Bowl and all that shit and make fun of it, but it's funny. But the reality is, 10 years ago, those bowls still meant something. I remember, I don't remember what year it was. It might have been like 2007 or 2008 or something. And Clemson played Kentucky in the Music City Bowl in Tennessee. And that was one of the best games I've ever seen. And I was excited. Clemson won at the end. And I was legitimately excited that Clemson beat Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. It was great. Now nobody cares. And CJ Spiller was one of the best players in the country that year. And he played in that bowl game. If it was 2021 and the Music City Bowl with a 12-game playoff system, CJ Spiller probably wouldn't have played in that game. And I'm not saying he wouldn't personally, but players like him would just sit it out because it would be completely meaningless.
I just think we're watering it down. It reminds me of the millionaire that pulls up in a limo and he's got the good-looking gal walking down the sidewalk, and he says, "Hey, would you sleep with me for $20,000?" And she thinks about it and says, "Well, $20,000, okay." And then he says, "Well, would you sleep with me with $10,000?" And she says, $10,000. Well, okay, $10,000. All right, yeah, $10,000. And he says, "Well, how about would you sleep with me for $1,000?" And she says, $1,000? What do you think I am, a whore? He says, "We've already determined that. Now all we're just bickering about is price." The NCAA and these college presidents are whores.
Yeah.
They're out for the money, and especially after so many schools took the huge financial hit during the COVID year, they're looking to regain that money. I just think they're going to look 3 years down the line and say, "Man, here's our chance." Because if you're say Oregon State, if you're Arizona State, if you're Arkansas, if you're Vanderbilt, you're going to love a 12-team playoff because there's more teams from your conference that are going to get in. And therefore, there's going to be a bigger pie for you to take a slice out of. Because, Alabama going and Clemson going as far as what they've done these past 6-7 years, once the playoffs started, Wake Forest has made a lot of money off of Clemson's success. Kentucky's got a lot of money in their bank account on account of what Alabama's done. All that money gets divided up.
Yeah, that's why I said it'll be with the TV contracts. You'll see an influx of several $1 billion into these conferences, and that's why they want to do it. And you're right, that's why they want to do it. But I think that it's a slippery slope. You can't put the toothpaste back into the tube. So once you go to 8 or 12,
right,
it's never going back to. I mean, it started out with just voting on national championships. Then it went to two teams, the top two teams in the country that were voted by sports writers were played for the national championship. Then it went to 4. Then it goes to 8. Then it goes to 12. Then it goes to 16. Before you know it, it will have what Mike Leach wants is a 64-team playoff, and the regular season won't mean. I mean, you can lose 6 games, and it used to be you have to win 6 games to make a bowl. 20 years from now, it might be you win 6 games to make the playoffs.
Yep, it's too bad because. You were saying earlier, I think you were saying it to Caleb, if not to Ballard, part of the appeal of college football, part of what sets it apart at the FBS level is its uniqueness, is that it's like nothing else. And yet the almighty dollar is going to come in and try to turn it into just like everything else. And I hope it doesn't happen, but I'm afraid it's coming.
College football has not only the best regular season on all of sports, I think it has the best postseason at this point too. Is it perfect? No. But, you know, every other sport, whether it's baseball, basketball, NFL, you know, you can be a mediocre team throughout the regular season and still win a championship or a Super Bowl or a World Series or whatever the case may be. And that's all fine. I'm not saying I love the NFL. So I'm not hating on the NFL. Their model, it works for what their system is. But the NFL is not college football, and there is no other sport in the world like college football. And I think if you start fucking with, you know, the thing that makes it great, then you ruin the whole thing eventually.
I agree. Hey, I'll get out of the way and let you take some other calls. Great as always, Pete.
All right, brother. Thank you, J-Dub. J-Dub calling in. The number to call in, if you want to call in, is 864-207-4522, 864-207-4522. Thank you, Wilkie, for the super chat. Says, what's the model for the 12-team playoff? Well, the model for the 12-team playoff is they're explaining it, from what I've read, is a five automatic, Power 5 bids, the conference champions, one group of 5 automatic bid, that's 6, and then 6 at large, which I'm assuming would be the top 6 after those automatic bids that are voted on by the playoff committee as it stands now. And of course, in that 6, you can include Notre Dame, BYU, independent teams, possibly another group of 5 team. If they're, let's say you have an undefeated UCF, and wins the AAC, they get in. Maybe there's another team that's close to them that they consider to be one of the top 12 teams. They can get in, and then 3 other SEC teams and a Big Ten team. That's it. So that's the way it looks. And then they're saying the top 4 seeds get a first round bye. So you'd have 4 semifinal games. Quarterfinal game. You'd have 4 quarterfinal games, 2 semifinal games, and then 1 national championship game. That will be the 12 game system there. Thank you, Gator Tooth, for the super chat. Says Beggin' Megan likes Vienna sausage. Well, no comment. LW, thank you for the super chat. What if your Tigers blow out somebody like Liberty first round, but lose your left tackle and top edge rusher for a meaningless game? 12 is terrible. Yes, exactly. Ding, 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 ding. That is correct, sir. Exactly. But Liberty's not making the playoffs, though. That's the only thing wrong with that statement there. I agree with that, Mike. Mike 3883 says home playoff games would be hype. Yeah, I would rather see. Here's my dream scenario. I like the 6-team playoff, but at the most 8. Let's say 8. And then the top 2 seeds get a home game on campus. I think that from a financial standpoint and from a standpoint of teams possibly sitting out their star quarterback or star player to prevent injury, I think a home playoff game is worth more than anything. I mean, if we're talking about money here, think about the amount of money that would bring into your university if you're one of the home teams. It would be huge. And it would be a huge advantage too. So that's a way to keep the sort of the integrity of the regular season and the conference championship game intact, is by doing at least the first round top seeds playoff games on a campus. That's almost invaluable, really. So. What do I know? I'm just an idiot. Football fan. What's up, your own Pete?
What's going on, Peete? It's the fan addict, man.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, chilling, man. I wanted to get in, man. Talk about the 12-team playoff situation.
Yes.
As I see, you're not a fan, huh?
Nah, not really. No.
So you said that the current system isn't perfect. How would you improve?
I mean, I don't think. First of all, I don't think you can ever make it completely perfect when you're talking about crowning one national champion out of 131 Division I teams. I mean, that's true. It's tough. And then people point to basketball and say, "Well, basketball does it." Well, basketball is not football, right? I mean, true. It's that's apples to oranges. Now, as far as making it better than it is now, first of all, I'm happy with the way it is now. I mean, in my lifetime, it's the best system that we've had, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But making it better, in my opinion, would be basically what I just said. If you do an 8-team playoff, and then include home games for the top seeds, on campus, that'd be the only way I can think of to improve it.
Well, it seems like, whether we don't have any control, so it seems like they're going to go to 12. So why not take some of what you just said? So top 4 seeds get a bye. That's something you had said earlier that why not rest Bryce Young against Auburn if I already won my side of the division? It's because you're trying to get one of those top 4 seeds so you can have a bye in the first round of the playoffs. And then for the other 8 teams that have to actually play in the first round, out of those 8 teams, the higher seed could have the home first round playoff game.
I like that idea.
They need to.
I like the idea of that.
To keep playing.
I like the idea of
Yeah,
that. That's the first time I've heard that. Now, as far as Alabama not resting, their player because they want to get a bye, if Alabama's undefeated going in to the postseason, whether they have 1 loss or 2 losses, they're still going to be a top 4 team. And Alabama could lose 1 game in the SEC and still be a top 4 team.
Possibly. Like let's take this year. Let's say they but what you had said is rest them against Auburn. We already know that Auburn actually beats Alabama every other year. So they lose that game. They still make it to the SEC championship. But then they lose to Georgia. So now you got an undefeated Clemson. You got an undefeated Ohio State. You got an undefeated or 1-loss Oklahoma, and then you got Georgia. So now, because they rested him and lost to Auburn, they don't get a chance.
Well, that's my point is that they could possibly lose to Auburn and still win the SEC as a 1-loss team and still be a top 4 team. Now, I know that's there's only a couple teams that can lose a game and still be a top 4 team. I mean, there's only, Alabama's one of them. Maybe Ohio State, something like that. Yeah.
I think, Clemson too.
Maybe.
But I guess I just hear a lot of it's going to decrease the regular season, but decrease it for who? The fans?
Yeah.
Because both, but for the fans though, but it's not just about us, it's about the players too. And I'm telling you, I got 2 nephews, 2 of which I interviewed on my YouTube channel. But one of them said in 2016, when they lost to Clemson, they knew they wasn't going to the Orange Bowl, so the rest of the season was just kind of like whatever. But in a 12-team playoff, they still got a shot to make the playoffs, so they got something to keep playing for.
See, that's where I disagree with you. I don't understand. It's so for 131 teams, it's playoff or bust, and the postseason means nothing to the players. That's why I just got done talking about how in 2007 or 2008, whenever it was, when Clemson played Kentucky in the Music City Bowl, nobody sat out. C.J. Spiller didn't sit out.
Okay, but I mean, in the last 2 years, haven't we had in the current system? Haven't we had people sit out though?
Huh?
A whole bunch of people sit out. Like Georgia had like 4 players sit out in the
right. And that's my point. So as soon as you go to a playoff system from 2 teams, during the BCS to 4, you start seeing people sit out if they're not even in the playoffs. Now, imagine how many teams. I mean, if there's a 12-team playoff, anybody outside of those 12 teams, what's the point in playing? I mean, you're just expounding the problem.
Well, currently we have 4 teams. We have 4 teams in the playoffs, and then we have a New Year's 6. Outside of that, it's people that sit out in those bowl games. That's equivalent. The New Year's 6 plus the 4-team playoff is equivalent to a 12-team playoff. So it's the same scenario. Like those people that's playing for the Capital One Bowl, I mean, they're going to sit out this year or they're going to sit out when it's a 12-team playoff. It doesn't matter. I'm just telling you from personal, the kids I talk to say, once they know they can't make the playoffs, that Capital One Bowl means nothing.
Let me ask you this. So since the playoffs have started, it's been we're going into our 7th year now, I think. How many number 12 ranked teams in the country at the end of the season would have won a national championship?
I mean, we talking about talent.
Zero.
I don't think any of them. Maybe I don't know. But this is the thing. So, are we to say that last year who was undefeated going into the playoffs was Cincinnati undefeated? Right?
No, I think they had one loss.
Okay, I thought he was undefeated, and then they played Georgia really tough. But let's say they were undefeated. Who's to say that Cincinnati can't win 3 games straight?
I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that. You're telling me Cincinnati's going to run through Georgia, Clemson, and Alabama to win a national championship in 3 weeks in a row?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
The answer is no. It's not happening. It would happen once every 100 years.
I mean, we both are fans of teams that actually have talent that can win it, but I'm just saying that's to tell the other 55%, like the group of 5 or whoever it is, that's to tell all of them that, hey,
the group of 5 should have their own playoffs. They don't need to be in our playoffs.
I think so too.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
So.
If the group of 5 had their own playoff, I'd watch it. I would love to watch the playoffs.
I actually think that.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I actually think it should be like I think Power 5 should be like Division. I ain't gonna say Division 1 because they're all Division 1 type kids, but I think the Power 5 should be really the Power 4 with 14 teams apiece.
Well, I'm with you on that too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I would like to see that happen. Yeah.
Because if the group of 5 had their own championship, now everybody in the group of 5 has something to really play for. Because as it stands currently, the group of 5 will never have a chance to play for a championship. So it's like they're just going through the motions. It doesn't matter what they do. So I would just say I just don't think it totally devalues for the players the regular season. Like I said, because currently, I mean, like I said, if you're not one of those 4 teams, they're like, well, whatever, man. We'll just go to the bowl game for the swag, or I might sit out and get ready for the NFL.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
so.
Yeah, I disagree with you, but I respect you. And listen, I think I'm in the minority on this. I think that most people agree with what you're saying as opposed to what I think. But. Yeah. I don't.
Well, I mean, neither one of us are on the committee, so.
Yeah. What we say doesn't matter. That's for sure. Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate the call. Thank you. That was a great call. And again, I feel like most people agree with what he says as a, because here's the thing: is people are like, oh, Pete, well, Clemson's in it anyway. They're in the ACC. They have a higher chance of getting in. Of course, you don't want the playoffs to expand But it has nothing to do with Clemson. I'm just telling you. You can believe me or not. It has nothing to do with where Clemson would finish on any given year. I'm talking as a college football fan, not a Clemson fan. And unfortunately, it's just a matter of time. Before they ruin this sport, just like they ruin the rest of the sports that I used to love. So, what's up, your own Pete? Real quick, thank you, Wilkie, for the super chat. Says conference winners should get an auto buy-in. I couldn't disagree with that more either. Yeah, not a big fan of conference champions getting in. I mean, again, a couple of years ago, 2018, I think it was, Pitt played Clemson. Pitt was a 5-loss team. If they would have somehow upset Clemson in the ACC championship that year, you would have had a 5-loss team in the playoffs. So not a big fan of that idea either. What's up, your own Pete?
Hey, Pete, it's McD Sports 4. How are you doing?
McD Sports 4. What's up, man?
Hey, you kind of stole my thunder a little bit with that last comment about Pitt. The one thing people aren't bringing up, besides what you just brought right now, is why should there be automatic bids? I mean, you had a good example. I personally don't think there's been a top 10 team in the Pac-12 for the past 3 years. I don't understand why they should get an automatic bid. But in my opinion, the 12-team playoff is really dumb because of the buys. Like, how are you going to determine 4 versus 5 who gets a bye?
Well, the same way that they determine 4 versus 5 about who gets into the playoffs right now. I mean, it'll be up to the committee, where they put the teams. So here's what I understand the way that they're looking at doing it. And I think I've said this a couple times already, but 5 conference champions automatic bids in. Now they can. That doesn't mean they're the top 5 teams. That means they can still be. Even if you're a conference champion of the Pac-12, for instance, the playoff committee could still rank you out of those 12 teams number 8. You don't have to be number 5, right? Are you following me? And then So even like I said, the group of 5, the best group of 5 team could still be ranked number 12, or they could be ranked number 6. Like, they're still ranking the teams, but they're including the automatic bids in their rankings, which is also fucked up, because if you think about it, they start doing these, the playoff committee rankings after week 8, right? So there's like 4 weeks of playoff committee rankings before the conference championship games, and then one final ranking after the conference championship games. So let's say they have UCF ranked at 6, and then the conference championships happen. Then you have the automatic bids that get in, and then they have to rearrange their rankings because of the automatic bids. There might be a team that wins their conference that was ranked outside of the top 15, conceivably, because of the way that conferences work, that wins and gets an automatic bid in. And so now the playoff committee has to rank them. They have to move them from 18 all the way up to 10 or 9 or 8 or whatever it is within 1 week. Right?
I mean, yeah.
Let's just make it more confusing than it already is.
Let me ask you this. So let's say they give an automatic bid to the group of 5. Do you think that group of 5 is ever going to win the championship?
No.
Exactly. That's why I'm against automatic bids. I think I like the 18 playoff. I'm open to that. But I like the 14 playoff as well. I could go 4 or 8. I'm personally not for buy, so I'll say screw the 6. Line up the best 8 teams, seed them 1 through 8, and then just play ball, and whoever wins out of 8 wins.
Yeah, so you're not no home field, on campus games for the top seeds, or no buys or anything like that?
For the 8 for the 8-team one, I do think there should be home games in the first round for the top 4.
Oh, see, I like it. See, I like the way you think. I knew you were smart.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
But I'm against these automatic bids. Like,
Oh yeah, that's my biggest hang up. I don't like that at all. Even if they go to a 12 thing,
no
just
top-
rank the 12 teams the way they rank the top 4 now, but it's with the committee or whatever. Stop all this automatic. Nothing should be automatic, because all these conferences aren't created equal. All the teams aren't created equal. There's too many teams. No automatic anything. For all the people that talk about how bad the ACC sucks, imagine an ACC team that's got 4 losses, like playing a crap schedule, getting into the playoffs, and then all these people that are like, "Oh, I want automatic bids." The first thing would happen is Pitt would win the ACC with 4 losses one year, and everyone would be saying, "Well, that's not fair. Pitt, they play in the ACC. They got 4 losses. Why should they be in the playoffs?" Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say exactly. So one more quick point before I let you go. The only people that are really for this 12-team playoff are teams, as someone alluded earlier, teams that always lose. It's for the people like Michigan fans, like Jim Harbaugh and Kirk Ferentz, non-championship head coaches that could sell during the recruiting period a little bit of hope. Hey, we can make the playoffs, but we'll lose in the first round 55-0. Have a good day, Pete.
All right, thanks. McD Sports 4 checking in. Rob Dog says 4 ACC losses is pathetic. Yeah, so you agree with me then? You wouldn't want to see a 4-loss ACC team get into the playoffs, would you? Of course not. Of course not. What's up, your own Pete?
Yeah, what's going on, Pete? I don't know if you let people call in for a second time, but I have to chime back in here if you would allow.
This isn't the Uncle Lou show. I let people call in more than once.
Okay, I don't know how you ran that. So, last caller a little bit more smarter than the one before, but I have a question for the Cincinnati comment, and I just want to know how Cincinnati would run through all these Power 5 teams. And if you let these group of 5, as far as the auto qualifier, if you win your conference, if you let these group of 5 teams in, they're not beating these higher-tier teams. And just like you've been talking about this whole show, what 10th ranked, 11th ranked, 12th ranked team last year is going to win a natty? None of them. None of these teams are going to run through these Power 5 schools.
This is the $2 billion equivalent of a participation trophy. Yeah. Okay. Let's let 12 of them in to make them feel better and get excited for 2 weeks leading up to the football game, just so they can have their hopes crushed like a soda can in the street. All for the sake of saying at least we made the playoffs. At least we made the playoffs.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, at least we didn't play the Capital One Bowl. What about the teams that play? What about the teams that play for the Capital One Bowl? What about the Tennessees? Do they just not play because the Capital One Bowl isn't worth playing for? Stop it. You know what the solution is? Quit raising your sons as quitters. Quit raising quitters. I'm tired of these kids quitting on their teams in the middle of the season because they're playing in a meaningless bowl game. Sir, the season is not over in that meaningless bowl. That meaningless bowl game is still your season. Stop quitting. Yeah. I'm sorry, you suck. But take your Capital One Bowl and move on. Jeez, man.
No.
I'll tell you what, Pete, I'm a little fired up tonight.
That's good. I like it. I like fired up Caleb.
Yeah, I'm just a little perturbed. And what's even more annoying about it is, being a fan of Georgia, I'm having this perspective from a team. We're not a Clemson. We don't make it every year and win it every other year. You know what I mean? And you don't see teams that can make it crying about it. Stop crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got to say about that.
All right. Thank you, Caleb. You go. You've been here 4 hours. Love you, Caleb. You've been here 4 hours. Called in twice. Made some great points, so I really can't argue with anything you just said. So I'm just going to leave it at that. What's up? You're on with Pete. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
You there?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know I was on, man. My bad, bro.
It's all right.
Dude, Pigskin Pete, I just found out about your channel a month or two ago from Uncle Lou.
Yes.
I love your channel.
Thank
I
you.
follow you. And I'm calling Uncle Lou out right now. Like, I want to bet. I'm a Gator fan, and Florida is going to beat Georgia, and I want to bet. Let's go.
Okay, hold on. This is important information that I have to write down. So let me grab my pen real quick.
Yeah, let's go. That's what I'm saying. Let's
okay,
make a
so let's
bet.
do this.
I already made a bet with Carolina's jackpot.
Okay, so
Let's go.
first thing I'm going to need, sir, is your name. It doesn't have to be your government name, but what do you go by on YouTube?
No. Real name, Cody Hill.
Cody Hill.
Cody Hill.
All right, hold
and
on.
I made a bet with Rob and Jackpot, if you know their show.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Carolina Jackpot. Yeah, I love him. He's one of the best Clemson YouTubers out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And
Yeah.
I talked to them tonight. I did the same
Great
thing.
Clemson
They were like,
YouTuber.
shave your eyebrows off, and if you lose, and it's me and Begging Megan.
Guy makes more
You know
Clemson
Begging
videos than I
Megan,
do. All right, Cody Hill.
You know Begging Megan?
Yes, I do know Begging Megan from the
All right. Well,
comment section.
my YouTube name is GatorTooth615.
All right, hold on. Cody Hill, Gator Tooth 615 wants to make a bet.
I'm calling
with Uncle Lou.
Uncle Lou.
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
I'm writing. Okay, you want to make a bet with Uncle Lou? Before you tell me what the bet is about, tell me what you're wanting to bet. Like, what's the wager here?
No, I want to make a bet with him. I'm not saying I have a wager or whatever.
Oh well,
What do you think?
I don't
How
know.
about you call something out?
You're the one that wants to bet him, not me.
Saying, I think Florida's going to beat Georgia
Okay.
again.
So what do you want to bet? You want to bet money? Do you want to bet, something? I mean,
It doesn't matter to me, bro.
so I get to pick
It
what
doesn't
you're
matter to
betting.
me. I'm just saying.
You want to do $100?
I mean,
$100?
I'll go 50.
$50. Okay, $50.
Yeah, but
50
besides
big
that,
ones.
I could do something like shave my head, shave my beard, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like something stupid.
Yeah. I don't know. You tell me. It's your bet, but I'm gonna go with $50. And listen, I'm writing this down because
I'm saying. Like, I'm asking you, like, what
you called me. I'm gonna pass the information on to Uncle Lou. So this is important. So.
Well, I feel like I've never seen Uncle Lou with a clean shaven face. So, and I have a beard, so I think it should be a beard shave.
A beard shave. Okay, let's see. Beard shave.
Bet, because he always has stubble or whatever. Like, he needs to have a clean face.
Right.
And I don't know, man. He needs to wear a Florida Gator shirt if they lose, and I need to wear a Georgia Bulldog shirt and shave my beard if we lose, and I gotta post it.
A beard shave
you or
and
him.
a shirt. All right.
Does that make sense?
What?
What do you think? If we lose, he needs to shave his face and wear a Florida shirt.
Okay. Yeah.
If we lose, I need to shave my face and wear a Georgia shirt. Take a picture, video, whatever, live, whatever.
Okay.
I'm calling him out, bro. Let's go.
All right. I'll make sure I pass this on to him.
Is that interesting? What do you think?
Well, I love these kind of bets. Oh yeah, it's interesting. I mean, he might tell you to.
That's what I'm saying.
He might tell you to kick
I mean,
rocks. He might not want to bet you though.
Tell me what I need to do, bro. I'm just saying. I think that's interesting. Like if he has to wear a Gator shirt and shave his face, I think that'd be hilarious.
Okay.
I mean, you're his best friend, so you tell me what's up.
His best friend.
Bro, I'm giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
I love both of y'all. Like I listen to every show y'all do. So.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm a Gator fan. Yes, I'm going to talk shit to him, but I still love him. So.
All right. Well, I do appreciate you, the kind words. So I will pass it. I will mention that to him though. See what he says.
Hey, you tell him if he's scared, he's a pussy. You tell him.
I'll tell him you said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do that.
All right.
Rally him up, cuz.
All right, buddy. I appreciate the call, man.
All right, man.
Yeah. This guy calls me wanting to bet with Uncle Lou. I mean, I entertain that because it was entertaining. But he can always call into Uncle Lou's call and show and make a bet with Uncle Lou. I don't know why I'm the intermediary in this. But but Cody Hill, Gator 26, what is it? 605. What's the bet, Uncle Lou? $50 or a beard shave and an opposing team shirt wear. What's up? You're on with Pete.
Hey, Pete, can you stand J-Dub for just about another 2 minutes?
Yes, of course I can.
Hey, well, first of all, the Gator call caught me by surprise. The Florida man talking shit, because when I hear Florida, the word that comes to my mind is bitch, because they're Alabama's bitch.
No. Please don't do it.
Well, I mean, Bama's won 28 straight against the entire SEC least, but that goes without saying. What I wanted to talk about was Clemson, Alabama, the top teams. There's been a lot of people talking about resting starters. Okay, resting starters, not doing that, not resting starters, is why Tua Tagovailoa was on the field and got hurt against Mississippi State. Okay, Nick Saban doesn't rest starters. If you can play, you're going to play. Jamie Waddle came back from that injury, and everybody said, what's Waddle doing playing in the championship game? That's crazy. He's risking his draft status. Saban shouldn't let him out there. The man worked his ass off to get back on the field because he wanted to compete in the national championship game. That's the mentality. That's the fierceness. That's the competitive nature. That's the mental strength of the players that programs like Alabama attract, not the Georgia team that has half of their squad sit out in the Sugar Bowl against Texas.
Okay, so here's what I'll say about that. You might be right. You might be right. Alabama might not sit anybody out, but there's 130 other FBS teams that probably would sit somebody out. And even if Alabama does start their best players, doesn't mean they'll leave them in for more than a quarter. If the game's meaningless.
I'm trying to say here is that there's an attitude and a kind of player that plays for these top, not just Alabama, but for Clemson and for Georgia and for Ohio State and for Oklahoma, for the top couple of programs. There's a certain kind of player, a certain kind of mentality, and it separates them from everybody else. It's not just the physical talent. It's the I'm going to come all the way across the country to come to some little town in South Carolina and play football. I'm going to come from some big metropolitan area in California and come all the way out to Athens, Georgia, because I want to play at that level. I mean, there's a certain mentality and it's why those teams stay at the top. Yeah. If you're a player who's more concerned about your own personal self, you're probably never going to get recruited by those programs to begin with, so you're not going to be there to sit out. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, you see some of these, Christian McCaffrey, one of my favorite players in the NFL, sat out bowl game. Didn't hurt him at all. He got picked 8th overall as a running back. Guy's making upwards of $22 million a year right now. So,
Right.
I mean,
I understand it, but I mean, to me, players want to play. You know, and that's the kind of kid I'm looking for. I want the Jalen Waddle. I want the kid that busts his ass for 10 weeks so that he can limp around on the field and beg me to get on the field and limp around for 3 receptions for like 30 yards.
yeah. No, I'm with you.
You
I
know?
mean, I have respect for those players more than any other. I'm with you. I definitely don't disagree with you there. You know.
And I just think there's that mentality that again, it's not just Bama. The other teams that are at the top and that stay at the top, you do that because of the kind of young man who's out there on the field for you. And a lot of that is between the ears and not just the biceps.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm out. I get out of here. Peter, people have heard enough of me tonight. All right, thanks, Pete.
Yeah, thanks, J-Dub. I appreciate it, brother. That was one of those calls where I agreed with everything that he was saying, except I felt like I didn't agree with him for some reason, but I didn't disagree with anything he said. But for some reason, I felt like I did. What's up? You're on with Pete.
Hey, Pete. It's Nate the Great. How are you doing,
Nate
sir?
the Great. Don't be late. You're never late, a.k.a. Nate Kingston, a.k.a. Hockey Star, a.k.a. Holes in the Wall.
Indeed. I know. How's your night? But your night is doing amazing and fantastic.
Amazing and fantastic. Yes.
Yeah. I'm doing pretty good. I'm just tired, but I am not tired yet because I'm on the great show with Pigskin Pete.
Yeah. How would you classify this call-in show? If you could use
like
2 words to describe the Pigskin Pete college football call-in show, what 2 words would you use? Not amazing and fantastic. We already know that.
Thank you.
What other 2 words would you use?
What is the rest?
How about most underrated?
The most watchable.
The most watchable. I like that one too. I don't know if that's true though. I don't know about, definitely not the most watchable. Definitely though, the most underrated.
Yeah. I try to be nice, but I get you.
Yeah, I don't know if it's watchable.
But anyways, Pete, I was gonna talk about the expansion possibility, but probably not this year, but in the future. And I think it's gonna be the starting point for expansion is probably 6 or 8. So kind of like what McD Sports said, like, I forgot what he said, but he said something about home or campus on campus games.
Yes.
I would love that for just the start of excuse me, for the start for expansion, and the next 10 years after, maybe 16 or I don't know, 10, I don't know. But I think that'll be the perfect pick or the most reality pick. But
yes.
Yeah, and that, by the way, you're gonna love my second round bid for the talent show next week.
I have a feeling that I'm going to love it because I love everything you do, Nate. And in fact, indeed, I love you, sir. Thank you for calling in. One of my favorite people. Not only on YouTube, but maybe one of my favorite people. You know, I don't think I don't think I've ever seen Nate say a negative thing or hear Nate say a negative thing about anybody ever. Ever. This is going to be the last call I take tonight. Thank you, Rhino. Who is this? Rhino26. Thank you for supporting the show. You're amazing and fantastic. What's up? You're on with Pete.
Hey, Pete. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, quick question. I know we've been talking about the college football playoff. I'm going to throw a little wrinkle to it. Going into the season, what would happen, though, if there was, like, I know it's going to go 12, but I think 8 is perfect. But say this year happens, it's a crazy year, and you have, like, maybe like 8 to 10 teams undefeated. How is God's green? I know it's not going to happen, but if it does happen, how in God's green earth are they going to figure out who the best 4 is going to be?
Well, it's literally impossible for 10 teams to go undefeated. It's impossible.
Could it be, though?
Huh?
I mean, take for example, like, I don't know, say Wisconsin in the Big Ten. I don't know if they got the schedule or not, though. Well, actually, it can happen.
Huh? Explain this to me. Go ahead. I got my listening ears on here. How is it possible for 10 teams to go undefeated?
Well, you're going to have – hang on, let me rephrase this. Because say you got several teams that's in the Power Group of 5, and you got the Power 5 conferences. You got 5 undefeated champions there, and then you got 5 from the Group of 5 from different conferences.
But they play each other. You can't have undefeated teams. Like,
how are you gonna?
They play against. They don't just play in their own conference. They play out of conference and cross divisional games and all that. There's anyway. It's mathematically impossible to have 10 undefeated teams. And not only, even if it wasn't mathematically impossible, it would. Every single year, you're lucky to see 1 undefeated team, at the most 2, at the most. Every year.
Because when they're, because I think what was it back in before they went to CFP, there was like 6 teams that was actually undefeated, 6 or 7 teams.
When was this? You talking about 1932? Was it 1931 or 1932?
And one none of those, sir. I'll do my research and I'll call back more about it on Friday night.
Okay.
Thanks for taking my call, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I do, however, I appreciate the call. I do, however, encourage people to do their research before they call in and not after. He's saying that there was 5 undefeated teams recently. No, there wasn't. There wasn't. But that was a great call anyways. Yeah, it was 1893. Yeah, 1893. That's it. That was the last time it happened. Anyways, that's going to do it for me tonight, guys. Thank you all for joining me on this fine Friday evening. Again, listen, I like to argue with the callers, but I seriously appreciate every single person that takes the time to call into the call-in show, because if it weren't for you guys, I could not do these call-in shows. Thank you to all the join members. Thank you to all the people that sent in super chats. Thank you to everybody that hit the thumbs up, because YouTube really cares. Thank you to everybody that was arguing in the comments section. Before I get off real quick, I'm going to tell you guys something that's got me perturbed, as Carolina Jackpot would say. We have a couple of friends that are engaged, and they told us today that they set their wedding date for January the 1st, 2022. Who the hell gets married on New Year's Day?
Congratulations. You tried and you failed miserably.
Obviously, these two individuals are not college football fans. That's number one. But on top of that, how pretentious do you have to be to get married on a holiday and expect people to come? Like, even if there was no, major college football going on January the 1st, which there is every year, who gets married on a holiday? That's telling all the people that are in your wedding and invited to your wedding, screw your holiday plans. We're more important. So, I mean, this is why I don't have any friends, because I'm seriously considering not going to this wedding. Just out of spite. And then everyone will be mad at me. They'll be mad at me. My wife will be mad at me. I'll be an asshole. Anyway. I couldn't believe when they told me that. Out of all the days. That's like saying, hey, guess what? You're invited to a wedding. Oh, what day is it on? It's on Christmas. What? Yeah, it's on Christmas. December 25th, our wedding day. I need you to cancel all your plans with your family and come to our wedding. Oh, okay. Anyway. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you updated on that. As if you care. All right, guys, listen, it's been fun. I will see you guys on Friday night at 10 p.m. with our special guest host, Tiger Paul Craven. Looking forward to that. Have a good night. See y'all then. Your boy, Pigskin Pete, is checking